I almost got with an OnlyFans girl and I had no idea. Now this story starts a long time ago, all the way back in 2018. This is when I was in middle school. You know, I was literally a little kid. I was innocent, played games all the time, had friends. I was actually really good at soccer too. And during this time, it was new to me, kind of making friends in middle school and whatnot, and I met this guy. I'll just call him Josh for the sake of this video. Josh was really cool. He was into sports and he was really funny. I just thought he was like this all around like really good guy. He had a ton of friends, he was popular, and he was really good with girls, everything like that. But there is one thing about him that I noticed, and honestly everybody noticed. It was the fact that he would only talk about girls. Anytime we hung out, he would talk about them. Anytime we basically did anything, it seems to be the only thing he could talk about. So one day I was playing soccer. It wasn't for my school or anything. It was like its own separate thing. And as I was playing, you know, I was feeling really good about myself. There was one specific game. I showed up to the field. It was an early morning game and I ended up scoring like 4 goals. I went absolutely crazy. And I was so excited about this, but I didn't really have anybody to tell. So I kind of just kept it to myself until I ended up getting home later that day. I turned on my Xbox, got on the game, and Josh was on with me. And as I was on with him, we started talking. And I was like, oh wait, I'll just tell Josh what happened. Maybe he'll care. So I start talking. I'm telling him the story. We're kind of going back and forth while we're playing on the game, making call outs or whatever, anything like that. But I'm just basically telling him what happened and how I scored 4 goals. Now, I'm obviously really excited about this. I remember having this like high-pitched tone in my voice of like being excited, kind of laughing, because I realized like I had a friend to tell this story to. Now, after I told this pretty much like entire story, he ended off, he didn't give me any response or anything. He literally just started talking about some girl that was in his class. And instantly I felt really weird about that. I was thinking in my head like, did he just like completely ignore me? Like, I have no idea what's going on, but he just completely skipped over that and went to talking about this girl. Mind you, like I said, I'm very innocent at this point. I know nothing about anything, but Josh, on the other hand, seemed to be the complete opposite. So he's talking about this girl, and my other friend ends up joining the party. I won't say his name or anything, but as he joins, he starts talking about all of these things that he did with this girl, and I'm thinking like, what is happening? Like, I've never heard any of this stuff, and he's just saying like the craziest stuff that he did. Me and my other friend don't even believe him. We're kind of like laughing at him, joking at him a little bit, thinking like there's just no way that this is true, what he's saying right now. But we go along with it because Josh was kind of the type to get really annoyed when you interrupted him or made it seem like you didn't care what he was talking about, so we just let him finish what he was saying. Now, as he was going, this story seemed to never end about this girl. Like, he would not stop talking about her. And at the end of it, I just was so done with it. I was like, all right, guys, I gotta take a break. I muted my mic, and I ended up just going into like solo matches on Fortnite by myself because I was like, there's no way I'm talking to him right now. And as I'm doing this, he's just going on and on and on. He literally does not stop the whole time. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But then things started to get kind of weird. He started talking like about a ton of different girls, like pretty much every girl in our grade, saying all of this like weird stuff about them, saying like what he liked, what he didn't like. Now this is like normal for teenage guys, but he just like was taking it a little bit too far, and this is where I don't know, I got like an odd feeling. So minutes go by and I was just like, all right, whatever, I'm just gonna get off. So I turn off my Xbox, go to sleep, and I basically am just like confused, like sitting there thinking like, what is he talking about? Now our other friend that we shared, I have no idea what he was thinking, but I definitely did not find this funny, or like, I don't know, I didn't even really like what he was saying. So after I woke up the next morning, we end up going to school, and I actually shared a class with him. As I was in this class, he was talking, and now once again, we're all talking about different things. Me and then all of our guy friends are just talking about different things like Fortnite, like just like random stuff that we would talk about at that age. But he would not shut up about this one girl. Now the issue here, and the dumbest part of all of this, is now one of the girls he was talking about, it wasn't even the girl that he was saying he did stuff with, but it was this other girl, was literally in the class with us. And you know, you would think like maybe it wouldn't be that bad what he's saying, but the issue is that he wasn't really saying good stuff about this girl. He was basically like hardcore judging her, which I once again thought was very weird. And to be honest, this was one of those things where I don't know, I got like such a weird feeling when he was doing it, and he was being so loud, like he just would not stop talking about this girl. And I remember he ended up saying her name so loud, I saw her like whip her head around and look over at us. And all I was thinking in my head was like, I was literally like doing a face palm, like, bro, like, what are you doing? And he kept talking about her, and all I was thinking, like, I was feeling like secondhand embarrassment, like, bro, there's no way he's doing this right now. So later, after that class ended, I actually ended up texting him and saying like, yo, bro, like, what was that? Like, you gotta chill out. Like, I said it in a joking way because we were friends at the time, but I said it like in a way of like, yo, like, bro, you can't be doing that. Like, it's just not something you should do. And he seemed to like agree with me, saying it was whatever, like, and I thought he was gonna change. Until later, Josh and my other friend were begging me to hang out. They just would not stop asking me. This was after school, and for some reason, my house sometimes was one of the places we would hang out. Like, it was like the main spot to go, just because I had this garage. And I wasn't gonna hang out. Honestly, I kind of didn't want to hang out with Josh as much anymore, but it was whatever, so we kept doing it. Until eventually, I ended up folding. I was like, bro, whatever, like, we can hang out at my place. It is what it is. So they end up coming over, and I'm just like chilling, you know, things weren't going that bad. We were kind of doing the normal thing, and luckily, Josh had not brought up anything about any girls, and I was like, bro, finally, like, we can do our own thing. So he's not saying anything for a while, until eventually, he ends up pulling out his phone and literally whipping out the hub, bro, in front of me and my friend. Now me, I had never looked at this. Like, I was young, innocent, none of that. And he literally is trying to show it to me. And I literally am covering my eyes at this point. Like, I'm not looking at it. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, I thought it was like disturbing. I thought it was so weird, and I like knew it. I just felt like something was wrong about it. So I was like, bro, like, just get that out. And I don't know why he was showing that to me. Maybe it's because he wanted to feel like normal about it. But then my other friend ended up saying that he like does the same thing, and he like watches it all the time. And I'm like, wait, this is a normal thing? Like, I thought that I was like the normal one here, but apparently I wasn't, because every guy my age was like watching that stuff. So now days go on, and all I can think about is that like image he kept like showing me, and I was like, bro, like, I don't know what it was, but the curiosity got the best of me. I was like, bro, so all of my guy friends look at this stuff. I thought it was just Josh because he was so weird about it, but apparently it was everyone. And I ended up going around school, like, and every guy would like talk about it all the time now, and I guess I never noticed it. So over time, eventually, I ended up folding. This was one of the biggest mistakes I made. I ended up looking it up, something about girls. I don't know what it was, and I got completely addicted. I could not stop, and I knew that there was something wrong with it. Like, it didn't feel right, but just because every guy my age was saying that they did the same thing, they kept convincing me basically that it was normal, even though in the back of my head I was thinking like, there's no way. So I remember looking stuff up, thinking this is really weird, but I simply just like couldn't stop. It was like an addiction at this point. So now, after doing this, when I showed up to school, I realized that I was doing similar things. Now, I was nowhere near Josh's level. He was just very weird. And I'd be like, what are these intrusive thoughts? And I would like literally like smack myself upside the head thinking like, bro, like, what is this going through me right now? And I guess it's because we were teenagers. We were getting to that age where you start changing or whatever. And I just felt like this was wrong. Like, something just like did not feel right about it. So I completely quit. And as soon as I did, I realized I stopped thinking these weird ways. I stopped doing all the things that I was doing before, and I could actually speak to girls. I was confident. Now, this is where it gets crazy, and this is where I almost ended up getting with the OnlyFans girl. These stories don't seem connected, but I promise you they are. Now, I've quit for a very long time, and literally years go by. Like, this is me after high school at this point. I moved to a new state. I'm with some friends and stuff, and this was never really brought up anymore. The whole subject of girls and all that wasn't really talked about much, until eventually I went out to this event in my city. Now, keep in mind, I'm somebody who like keeps to themselves a lot. It seems like I'm very outgoing, which I am, but I'm pretty much inside most of the time. But as soon as I went out, I realized how every guy was kind of like my friend Josh. Like, whenever I would see them in real life, I'd be like, bro, why is like pretty much every guy like this towards girls? Like, it's just kind of weird. So as we were going out, we eventually ended up at this restaurant. And at this restaurant, this girl ended up walking in with her and her friend. It was this brunette girl and this blonde girl. And they sat down. And as soon as they sat down, I'm telling you, every guy in the room was looking. Like, literally every guy. These girls were like the most attractive girls, and we're in a city where there's a ton of attractive people, but these girls were like next level. So as they're sitting there, I see one group of guys talking about like maybe going up to her. I see the guys sitting next to her. It was like this bar they were sitting at, contemplating going up to her. You could tell, like, just looking from a distance, he wanted to go up to these girls, but he didn't know what to do if he did go up. So now me and my friends are kind of sitting there at this restaurant. They're eating. I didn't get anything, you know, I was just chilling, trying to talk to some of my guy friends. But when these girls came in, my guy friends even started talking about it, saying like, yo, you should go up to her, trying to convince me basically. And I was like, bro, I'm not gonna do this. Like, I don't care about that. Like, I've never been the type to really care that much about girls or anything like that. So I'm kind of just minding my own business. But then like 10-20 minutes went by, and we started noticing that basically every guy was thinking about going up to these girls. And I was thinking in my head, like, I don't care about this, but if it comes down to it, like, I want to prove to my friends that like I could easily go up to this girl. Like, it's not a big deal. So they're talking about it nonstop. They literally won't shut up about how they want me to go up to her. And at the end of it, I'm like, bro, okay, I might as well just do this just to prove that I can do it. So now I'm sitting there at the table. I have nothing to eat. The girls seem like they were inviting, like they wanted a guy to come up to them. I don't know if they wanted a guy to buy them drinks or something like that, but I was like, all right, whatever, I'll go up to them. So I end up getting up, walking over, and mind you, it's a 2v1 at this point. It's two girls who are very attractive versus me, someone who like barely talks to girls right now. I'm just like doing my own thing, like on my grind, you know what I mean? So I go up to her, and I said the worst thing I could have possibly said. I did a pickup line, and the only reason I said this pickup line is because my friends convinced me to. I am not the type of guy to do that. I'm the type of person to like go up to somebody and just start a conversation. I don't say like the weird pickup lines, but I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll just say what they said. So the first thing I say is I go up to her and I say, where'd you get that? And then she says, get what? Like, what are you talking about? And I said, where'd you get that smile? It was one of the worst things I've ever done. And you know what's even worse about it? Is it actually worked. As soon as I said that, she started laughing. But I noticed that as soon as I started talking to her, I could tell she was like years older than me, like a good amount. I'm only 19. She was probably like mid-20s or something. So instantly I felt kind of awkward, like, oh shoot, like this girl's way older than me. She probably would feel weird talking to a guy this young. So instantly when I realized how much older this girl is than me, I'm like, okay, maybe I should just like go away. Like, I don't know what to do. So I'm contemplating walking away, and I gave myself an excuse to leave. But as soon as I said it, her blonde friend pitched in, and she was like, no, don't leave. And I'm pretty sure what I said, I was like, well, you guys just seem bored, but you know, I'm gonna go over there, hang out with my friends, you know, I'm just chilling with them. I wanted to come up to you guys. You seem kind of bored or like lonely or something. I was just like saying whatever. I don't know. I kind of went blank at this point. But as soon as I gave myself an excuse to leave, the blonde girl is like, no, don't leave. And I'm like, wait. Okay, so these girls are like mid-20s, like way older than me, like 5 years, 4 years, I don't even know how much. They're older than me, and then they don't want me to leave. So I'm like, okay, this is surprising. I didn't think this would work. So now as we're going in and talking more and more, I realized that I wasn't thinking in this way that all the other guys that talk to them do. I was just having a normal conversation. I wasn't saying anything weird, nothing like sexual, nothing like that. I was literally just talking to them. And they actually seemed to like this. Now, as I kept talking more and more, it seemed to be going well. The brunette girl that I was talking to was like laughing nonstop, until eventually I asked for her Instagram. I'm like, hey, let me get your Instagram. So then I go, I look it up, and as soon as I look it up, my face drops. I'm like, wait, this girl has like over 500,000 followers. I think it was like 800 something thousand followers. And I was like, no way. This girl is like kind of famous. So I'm like looking, and then I click on one of her photos. She's in this bikini picture. It's one of her pinned posts. And then she literally snatches my phone, starts laughing and saying like, don't look at that right now. Don't look at that. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I follow her, whatever. The conversation ends. I go up to my friends, tell them exactly what happened, whatever. And then we walk out the restaurant. As I'm walking, I start scrolling through my phone and realizing like, wait, this girl is an OnlyFans girl. And I'm thinking like, there's no way this actually just happened. Like, I thought this girl was like innocent like me. I don't know. She was talking like completely normal. There was nothing off about her or anything like that. So then my mind flashed all the way back to the days with Josh. And I'm like, bro, all of the guys that go up to this girl literally do the same thing that Josh would do, where they're like weird. They're like over sexualized. Their brain is just like fried from all of the corn and whatnot that they're watching. And for me, I just like wasn't even in that mindset at all. I just wanted to talk to her just to prove that I could. So now as I'm walking back, I'm thinking more and more, and I'm like, the girl who is literally making this content that these guys are watching, all of this sort of stuff, she seemed to be more impressed by the fact that I wasn't like one of those guys that would watch her. That's what she seemed to like more. Now I'm sitting thinking in my head, okay, like what do I do now? Like, I just didn't know that this girl was like this big on social media. So I was just like, okay, she's way older than me. Like, there's no way she's actually into me. That's all I was thinking. So eventually, as I'm heading back up to my apartment, I'm just contemplating in my head, like, what should I do? I start scrolling through her content and realize how like cooked it is, like how bad it is. And I'm like, okay, like nothing against her, you can do what you want, but like I just don't know if I want to date or like mess with a girl who's kind of like, you know, doing OnlyFans. And I don't want to offend anyone, but I'm just trying to like tell you the truth. So as the day ended, I'm just going through all the flashbacks in my head, thinking like all of the guys that thought this was normal, everything like this, they were all wrong. Even the girls who were making that sort of stuff don't seem to like the guys who are into that sort of stuff, which is just like a weird full circle thing. And the main thing that I learned is that when you have like so much lust going through your head and your brain is just always thinking about the things that you can do with a girl and everything like this, it's like one of the worst things that you can have. And I feel like it all really comes from looking at that sort of stuff online, looking at girls doing all this. Like, it's so much better to avoid it, in my opinion. And at this point, I decided that like I'm fully done with that. Like, I'm just doing a full detox of anything of girls online. Like, I just can't do that. So the main takeaway is that all the girls that you're looking at online, these are girls who are like completely like normal people. There's nothing like crazy about them other than the line of work that they do. And the guys who are so obsessed with lusting over these girls, it's like the worst thing that you can have. Instead, I think it's the best to just have pure intentions, do the right thing. And if you really actually want to get a girl or anything like that, see me, I'm not in the position where I even want that right now. But if I did, it's all about being pure, bro. Just do what's right. Like, don't do the stuff that Josh would do, okay? That's the main point of all of this right now. Don't do what Josh would do. Be normal. That's it.